So, like a few of the things that I'm talking about now, I probably talked about this before the season was suspended, but given the circumstances, I think it's okay to talk about this again. Are the Lakers the favorite in the West? Should they be the favorite? I mean, to me they are. They were my finals winner pick from the beginning of the year. I did not predict them to get the 1 seed, but I did predict that they would win the finals. So, it is easy for me to just stick with my pick. But if we talk about the basketball stuff a little bit, before we start talking about matchups and things like that, it's going to be interesting to see if the Lakers can get back to the level of chemistry that they had when the season was suspended, because it seemed like they were really gelling together. Are the non-LeBron and AD guys going to be able to make enough shots? I do think the Lakers, maybe more than any other team, can withstand a bad shooting night because of LeBron and AD. But even then, you still need some guys to make threes. And they don't really have a knockdown shooter on the team. They have good shooters, Danny Green, Bradley, KCP, Kuzma, depending on the day of the week, other guys. They have guys who can make threes, but they don't really have a great shooter on the team. And maybe that would be a thing that could hurt them a lot in the playoff series. I don't know. But still, with that said, I think just because of how physical LeBron and AD and Dwight and JaVale can be, and the fact that the Lakers could just shoot a lot of free throws, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there were a few playoff games where LeBron and AD combined for like 25 free throw attempts. It's going to be very difficult to beat the Lakers if LeBron and AD are getting to the line that much. Now, AD's shooting has been a little bit of a conversation. Like, is he going to have to make threes in order for them to win? That's going to be interesting too. I don't really know what the answer is there. I think it's just a wait and see depending on the matchup, who's going to dare him to shoot. But also, even if the paint is kind of packed and they're playing a big man next to AD, which has been most of the season, he's still finished through all of it because he's that good. And, if they throw AD to the center position and then there's nobody taking up the paint for him, then that's always going to be a thing. I mean, that's been a running thing this whole year. It's like we're going to see Anthony Davis at center when he needs to play it. It's understandable as to why he wouldn't play it every game of the season. You're trying to keep him there physically and all that. You don't want him to get hurt. That's fair. But when it's the last 4 minutes of a close playoff game, he's probably going to play the 5. And at that point, it might not even matter his three-point shooting because the paint's going to be wide open. It's going to be LeBron, AD, and 3 shooters. That's going to be tough to defend. Anyway, if we talk about playoff matchups, so it's going to be interesting to see what the standings end up really being. We got 8 games. The Lakers are going to get the 1 seed. That's a pretty safe bet. 5.5 game lead on the Clippers. Basically, 2 through 7 in the West is pretty close. Well, there's little jumps. There's little gaps here and there, but there could be a lot of shuffling still. But it's still safe to assume that the Lakers would be playing the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which, as of right now, would be Jazz Thunder. My pick to win that series would be OKC because, Boyan's not there for Utah and stuff. And in a series like that one, I mean, Chris Paul would have to play really, really well. The Lakers' perimeter defenders between KCP, Danny Green, Caruso, and Bradley, you'd think that they could potentially slow him down. I don't know. I mean, CP, he's so damn good on mid-range jumpers. Like, it's tough to fight over the screen and then still contest that shot, Like, most of the time, you just drop on the screen because you figure, all right, this guy's going to shoot at the most 41, 42% on mid-range. The math says we're going to win that. CP can legitimately hit over half of his mid-range shots to the point where it's like, well, we actually might not just want to drop on every single possession. And, is Steven Adams going to be able to make the Lakers pay if they switch a smaller guy onto him? I think a series like that one is when the AD at center thing becomes a little more interesting, because what if Dwight and JaVale just were not able to kind of keep CP in front of them while also not losing track of Adams rolling. At that point, you might have to go to AD. Now, that being said, well, when it's not the Schroeder lineup, then you could just leave that one dude open, whoever the hell it's going to be, Lou Dort or whoever else. When Schroeder is in there, then you don't really have a guy to leave on an island, because then it's Schroeder, Gallo, and Shea surrounding that. That's tough to defend. So that might be an AD at center type of a series. We'd have to see there. But another interesting thing with a series like that one, and this is going to be something to take a note of with these playoffs when they eventually come, is no home court advantage. I mean, the Lakers are a better team than OKC, but that's the kind of series where, like, the Lakers could win the first two in LA, and then it goes back to OKC, and OKC manages to win both. Like, we see that happen all the time. And then usually the better team figures it out and they win the next one in their home place, and then they go on the road and they win in Game 6. This happens all the time, right? Under these new circumstances where there's no home court, maybe the Lakers just would win that in 5 because they're just the better team. Now, even when you start rolling the dice on the home court thing, it gets tough, because then it's like, well, OKC wouldn't have to travel to LA to play those 2 games. Like the Lakers wouldn't have the home court benefit either. So I don't know. We're really grasping at straws to anticipate what the NBA is going to look like once we're eventually playing again, and I'm only trying. That's the most I can do right now. Anyway, I'm just going to assume Lakers would win against OKC. I think they would win against the Jazz as well. Especially now, because I just don't know if Utah's going to be able to score enough points. I mean, their offense was already shaky, then they lost Boyan, Okay, should we just get to the Clippers now? Yeah, I probably should. I mean, if this happens, then that'll be the time to really dive in on this series and stuff. But the way the Clippers look coming out of this long break, I think is going to be pretty interesting, because while their chemistry kinda was starting to look okay when the season was suspended, they did not look great for a lot of the year. And the easy reply to that is, yeah, well, when it was Kawhi, PG, and whatever else, their record was awesome. It's true. You're right. But they still didn't look like a team. They looked like a bunch of guys who are talented and they are all wearing the same jersey, but just the level of togetherness that they had did not compare to the Lakers. And hell, you could say it doesn't compare to the Nuggets, doesn't compare to the Thunder, doesn't compare to Dallas. So, just what are they going to look like? What is their offense going to look like? Is the spacing going to be good? Are guys not going to be getting in each other's way? Is the shot distribution going to make sense? I mean, with all this being said, if Kawhi and PG are just great on ISOs and simple pick and rolls and they're bringing on the other end, that could still be enough. I mean, talent goes a long way, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Clippers just didn't look awesome after this huge break. And to me, that's kind of the more interesting thing than the X's and O's stuff of Clippers-Lakers right now. To touch on the actual basketball stuff a little bit. I mean, look, LeBron's going to attack Beverly and Lou Will, and mainly those two. Reggie Jackson's another one every single time they're in the game. And the Clippers, it'll be interesting to see their counters to that whole thing. I mean, LeBron would, of course, look to score on the guy, so they'd have to bring help. But the Clippers, when their defense is clicking, and it was at times, they are able to play kind of a zone, not really a zone. They can, cover passing lanes, and they did something similar to that against the Rockets, where they effectively had, one guy defending 2 guys at the same time on the wing. And then they could crowd Harden or Westbrook or whatever. And the point being, they'll be able to do some interesting off-ball defense on LeBron post-ups. And I think a lot of the time you're going to see LeBron on Lou Will and Patrick Beverly and Mo Harkless and whoever else, Reggie Jackson. Basically, LeBron's going to try to score as much as possible without having to go through PG and Kawhi. And I feel like some people on Twitter, as well as Skip Bayless, would attempt to make fun of LeBron for this when it's the right basketball thing to do. Like, why would you choose to try to score on Kawhi when you can attack Lou Williams on a switch? Like, it's just basic basketball, you know? So those are kind of my half-baked Lakers-Clippers takes, mainly from the perspective of the Lakers. I could do another one of these videos for the Clippers, so that's why I don't want to go like too hard into their whole shtick right now. But yeah, I mean, again, to me, the Lakers are still the favorites in the West. I think their chemistry, combined with obviously LeBron and AD, is still pretty tough to deal with, and I feel like everybody else in the West kind of has something to overcome. You know, with the Clippers, it's chemistry and hoping they're healthy. I think with the Nuggets, Jazz, and Thunder, they don't have that superstar player. I mean, well, we'll see. Maybe Chris Paul just has an out-of-body experience in the playoffs. Jokic is one of the best players in the league, but I feel like he's not in that super inner circle of elite guys. Like, I don't know if Jokic can really match LeBron or Kawhi or, you know, Harden in a playoff series. I talk about Houston. They do have Harden. He can be the best player in a series. That certainly matters, and that's going to give them a puncher's chance against anybody. But Houston is just so difficult to evaluate given that they're so much different from everybody else. And in the sense of Dallas, you know, similar things can be said about Luka. He can be the best player in a series. That being said, I just feel like Dallas in general is not talented enough, especially because Porzingis is not 100% back just yet. And I don't want to say as if the Lakers don't have to overcome some things too. I just, comparing what they have to do versus what other teams have to do, I just don't think it's in the same level. I mean, with the Lakers, I already know you had great chemistry. Now I just need you to get that chemistry back. With the Clippers, well, your chemistry was never really that good, and now we just took like 4 months off, so can you now figure out your chemistry in a condensed amount of time? We're asking two different things there. So, yeah. And as far as an NBA Finals, I mean, I'll just say right now, my finals pick is Bucks-Lakers, which is what it was from the beginning. I know, it's a very out there pick. And I just think the Lakers are better than the Bucks, pretty much. But we'll get to that if that happens, and we'll start busting out the 20-minute prediction videos and all that. So yeah, I still think the Lakers are the faves in the West.